Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First flag is Vincent to throw first. Game on.
And Cameron Menzies, a man who literally does not have a single penny to his name in terms of PDC ranking money at the moment, is in with a chance of winning this title. I'm Dan Dawson, talking you through the opening quarter-final of the night. Paul Nicholson, former Players Champions, alongside me for it.
Listen to that for a start to the evening. This crowd has been well and truly warmed up by our MC, and a cameo from our two Austrian players, which was lovely to see as they were singing an Austrian anthem. But you could say that after 3 very good games from Cami, this one's a bit harder, and it's going to get harder if that keeps happening. But it's against Vincent. You've got to call it a tall order, haven't you?
Yeah, Vincent is very much a no-nonsense individual. Cameron Menzies is very much a lots-of-nonsense individual. This could be, well, it's going to be entertaining. It's always entertaining watching Menzies play. You just don't know what kind of standard he's going to produce.
Well, we have an inkling as to what Vincent's going to do, because today he was fabulous when he beat Gerwin Price earlier, and there would have been a lot of people thinking Gerwin's probably in the right category to maybe go on and trouble someone for the trophy, but Vincent sorted that, didn't he, with a ton plus average and a 6-1 victory.
Yeah, best average of the tournament so far from Vincent van der Voort, 103.17. We have not seen that bettered as yet.
And what makes that more impressive is the fact that he'd never beaten Gezi before in 5 attempts. So he's snapped that streak, and now that he's got that off his back, maybe he can go on and progress, and possibly, do we dare even contemplate a final against his best mate?
Well, it could be. There are so many stories that we could see develop over the course of this evening's session. We could have Michael van Gerwen and Vincent van der Voort fighting out in the final. We could have an all-Austrian final. Never seen 2 Austrians in the final session of a Euro Tour, let alone an all-Austrian final.
I don't even think we've ever had, in the corresponding country, 2 home nation guys in the final. Not off the top of my head.
38.
The only one I can possibly think, it might have been an MVG one in the Netherlands.
I'm trying to think.
There hasn't been one in Germany, there hasn't been one in Denmark, hasn't been one in Gibraltar.
And there wasn't at the UK Darts Masters, because that was John Parr, Stuart Kellett.
Correct.
We will return to that theme as Vincent van der Voort lines up double 18. That's a long way inside. That's quite a way outside.
27.
3 very poor darts from Vincent van der Voort. This is not what we saw from him earlier on.
Double 12 for Cami. Polishes up. Oh, you don't want to do that. Vincent is no nonsense. If he sees you doing that kind of thing, he's going to get miffed.
The thing is, right, some players will get very, very annoyed. They'll think that Menzies is
54.
taking the mick. They'll immediately, because they're going to be annoyed in situations like that, and they'll think he's taking the mick. The thing is with Menzies, he's like this all the time.
Oh yeah, 24/7.
Like, this isn't an act. He is just. Look, I mean, look, you get every emotion from him. He is a gigantic, bearded 6-year-old running around a kid's birthday party, off his nut on E-numbers. Like, he's just excitable. He's loving every second up there. Why not? I think it's refreshing.
Yeah, I think his blood is probably made of some sort of energy drink.
Yeah, just syrup. But he is immensely watchable.
60.
And we've seen him. Look, he was applauding Michael Smith for good shots. He was singing along and clapping on his walk-on earlier on.
Well, his first game against Kevin Munch, he looked almost elasticated. He looked like one of those arm-flailing inflatable tube men.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can describe him, because he has more gestures than anyone I've ever seen on a dartboard.
Yeah, he is a force of nature. Is Cameron Menzies. And look, sometimes his darts are as erratic as his on-stage persona, because there'll be little periods where he plays brilliant stuff and then he'll just go completely off the boil, and then it'll change just like that. It's so unpredictable. As Vincent wanted the 51 to leave 24, but he will leave himself on double top.
Well,
messed around in leg one, though, didn't he?
Got to be really fair here, Dan, because I don't think anybody's turned up against him this weekend yet.
No. That is fair enough. Still got to hit the doubles. 1-1, immediate break back for Vincent van der Voort. It is fair to say that this has not been anywhere near the standard we've seen from Vincent over the course of this weekend. And it is kind of a rarity to see him involved in the latter stage of this. Yes, he made a quarter-final earlier on this year at the Dutch Darts Masters, beaten by Ian White. But the last semi-final he made in anything was 3.5 years ago. His last final was 4.5 years ago, and his last title was 5 years ago, of course, the Austrian Darts Open.
The fact of the matter is, the fact that Vincent is still playing is just, it's incredible. I honestly thought, when he was going through that back trouble, that we were seeing the end of it.
Also, did he? He announced his retirement at the World Championship. He was beaten, he hobbled off stage, back problems had crippled him, pretty much literally, again, at the World Championship, and he'd gone out. And he said, there and then, I can't do this anymore. I've tried, I can't do it. I can't play how I want to. It's frustrating. I'm going to walk away from the game. And then about 4 weeks later, he was at the UK Open qualifiers in Wigan. And he said, you're not supposed to be here. But he'd spent a lot of time, he knuckled down, he got a lot of physio, spent a lot of money, spent a lot of time with some very painful treatment, and he worked his way back. And arguably over the last year, he's playing as well as he has done for a long, long time. As Menzies wants 60 and bull. Can't get it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that actually, Dan. I think this year has been brilliant. And the fact that he's already provisionally punched his ticket to Göttingen is testament to that. It's bull! It's not bull.
Cameron requires 65.
Well, there's a 5. And there's the 20. And it's too high for the double top. Would have been a third consecutive break of throw in this game, but Menzies unable to produce.
Double 8. Great switch up across the board. And the way that he plays and the speed that he plays makes that shot even more difficult.
59.
Try doing that switch from double 8 to double 4 at his pace at home. It's not easy. I always like to look at the facial expressions of players when they're throwing.
36.
Vincent's got this tendency to bite his tongue.
Yeah, he's not a guy who gives much away. Vincent. You see him grunt a lot.
Next time you see Cammy, it's almost like he's chewing on a refresher. Just look at his lips.
I mean, there's all sorts going on there.
140.
It's just a little chomp going on. I didn't do it that time.
Yeah, the
Commentator's curse.
Cameron Menzies, consistency is not really his thing in any respect.
140.
But this could be a sign that Vincent van der Voort is just getting into a bit of a groove. Potential 11 darter coming in for Vincent.
Vincent require 85.
Yeah, he's doing what nobody's really done against him this week, which is lift their standard to that world-class level. He's not going to go
45.
for the bullseye route, and he's going to bank on Menzies. He's not hitting this. Dangerous game to play.
It is, and we've seen a few people decline bullseye attempts this weekend, more than normal, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just come back for the break and people aren't quite mentally switched on. They don't even know if their opponents are on finishers or not.
3-1 it is to VVDV. And you're right, because I've seen people declining bull shots when their opponent's on something like 138, 142. Find it very odd.
I'm trying to think who it was this weekend, but somebody declined it when it was only a 1 treble and a bullseye finish, like a 1-2-4, something like that. Now, I can only assume, over the course of this month, if players have been, getting some practice in, they might have just been playing on the practice board. They might not have been playing competitive action. They're just going through the motions, and they might not be playing actual games where you've got to worry about what the other guy is doing. And I know you play the board, not the man, but there are situations that arise in games. And if you're just in that, well, I've got 62 left, it's treble 10 for double 16, if I've got 2 darts in my hand, then they're in that mode. That's the only thing I can think of. It just seems, unless they've all got together over August and had a chat and go, let's just decline a load of bullseyes.
118.
Well, I was just going to say, do you think someone like MVG or maybe Rob Cross or maybe James Wade, do you think they would do that? I'm not so sure.
Well, I mean, Michael Van Gerwen goes for bullseye finishes whether his opponent's on a finish or not, because he wants to do it to entertain.
Well, this is right. 108. No bullseye required because he's below 50. He is now 4-1 to the good, and that 12 darter tells a very good story if you're a Vincent van der Voort fan.
Yeah, and Cameron Menzies at the minute just does not have the firepower to handle Vincent. And you can see, you can always see what Cameron's thinking, but he's just, there aren't as many smiles and gurns and flailing about in celebration. It's more wringing his hands in frustration.
I'll tell you what would be really good with Cammy from this this tournament. Remember those comic strips that were made earlier this season on the Euro Tour? It would make for a very amusing one of those.
Well, I mean, there's all sorts you can do. In fact, I remember a few years ago there was a company who wanted to trial a system here on the European Tour where they mapped the facial expressions of players, and they wanted to see if they could use it to predict or gauge how much stress they're under, like when they were going for doubles, key moments in the match, and you'd be able to have like a stressometer. And genuinely, there was some science into this about how they're doing. Obviously, it never actually made it to the broadcast. But I mean, what do you do with? I mean, Menzies would break that.
So would Gerwyn Price.
Yeah. Well, yes.
I think that machine would need to be rebooted, and that's happened a few times in this match. He does use a very long point, and that dart goes in very steep. But I think he's easily had 5 on the floor. One visit where there was 2 on the floor.
Yeah, and undoubtedly that has contributed to the fact that he is averaging in the 70s right now, but it is not solely responsible. That's better. Oh, lovely. 174 from Menzies, who goes back the wrong way, because Cameron, you've got to pass the duchy on the left-hand side, Cammy.
Walking away from the board.
Yes.
59. Cameron, you require 64.
To be fair to Cam, he did hold his hands up and say sorry for that. That's good sportsmanship. I like that. He recognised his mistake. Tops. Yeah. Get in there, Cammy, you are. Within 2 now. And the noise in here just got louder.
Well, the gap is cut to 2. He's had 2 very good visits back-to-back. The 174 and then taking out a 64 checkout.
98.
Only had 3 darts at double in this match so far, Cameron Menzies, compared to Vincent van der Voort's 10. That just shows you how much he's been outscored in this contest.
Do you remember last year when MVG played Cammy?
I did, and he actually came close to toppling him, didn't he?
Yeah, and I don't think MVG was a fan of the arm flailing and things like that.
Well, I think Michael Van Gerwen, I thought Vincent would be a little bit more obvious about it, to be honest, but he's probably been tipped off by Cammy, who is top of the Challenge Tour rankings, by the way. Look, he's not just a mad comical player who's turned up and had a good weekend. This lad's a serious darts player.
Cammy at the Worlds?
Well, I mean, he stays where he is in the Challenge Tour rankings, then yes.
But with his personality, come on, think of a better nickname.
134.
Don't go down the Walshy Chizzy route.
Well,
I mean, you could have a multitude of things with Cameron Menzies.
Oh, look at that for a set-up shot. 170 from Vincent to leave himself double 8. That's how you respond.
140.
I mean, Vincent, I was expecting Vincent to come out here and just be staring at Cameron Menzies like he was some bearded creature from another planet. All he has done is come out and try to get on with the job. He wasn't very good at the start of the game, but he's got better as the match has gone on, and the pump of the fist from Vincent van der Voort puts him 1 leg away from his first semi-final in anything in PDC darts for 3.5 years.
I'd be shocked if Van der Voort was not tipped off by MVG from that game last year. He will have texted him or spoken to him over the course of the afternoon and said, you're playing Cameron Menzies, just beware that he is going to be doing everything behind you, possibly in front of you, so you've got to stay focused. And he's done that. He's done a fabulous job.
He has. I mean, look, the average is only around 90 for Vincent, but it started off so slowly, this game.
59.
But it has got better. And Vincent van der Voort has been the better player for the vast majority of it.
136.
Well, when you look at the averages that Cammy's had through this tournament, yes, the 82 is down on what he's been doing, but he hasn't really been hitting the heights. So that's why you had to have Van der Voort as the favourite after this afternoon's performance.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the winner of this will face either Mensur Suljovic, the Austrian #1, or Ian White, the second seed here. And whoever wins that tie will be the favourite in the semi-final. But if it is Vincent van der Voort, do not write him off, because it has been like watching him in Austria 5 years ago when he won that title, as Menzies looks at tops and now double 10. And the gap is cut once more, a 15-darter of his own to stay in this contest, at least for another leg.
Decent recovery on that visit from Vincent after a wayward 5 with dart 1. Get the feeling that Cameron is just turning up the heat a bit. And we have seen people worry their opponent from 5-2 down this week, namely Jermaine Watamina on Friday afternoon. He came close to taking
99.
Christian Bunser out from 5-2 down. He had a match dart in the 11th leg. Can Cameron Menzies give himself that very thing?
133.
Well, Vincent van der Voort will know himself, because 5 years ago in Salzburg, he trailed 5-2 in the final to Jamie Caven before winning 4 legs on the spin to take the title.
140.
He knows he is not safe. And Menzies is upping it. Oh, and he's just produced the horse.
I'm not going to do the sound.
Doesn't need it. Treble 20, treble 19, treble 18. 3 big trebles, separate
60.
ones.
I think he's found a way of negotiating this board. He's had fallouts, so now he's just going to go treble 20, treble 19, treble 18, and then give himself these kinds of shots.
Well, well, well. 15-dart hold, 12-dart break. Cameron Menzies denies Vincent van der Voort to go at that 117 for the match. And this quarter-final is alive when it looked like Cameron Menzies was just going to deflate and slink out of the tournament at the quarter-finals. Now he is quite literally hopping around at the chance of making the semis.
He looks less like a dart player and now looks like Rudolf Nureyev.
And the first dart is good. And that makes it so much easier. When he beat Adrian Lewis this afternoon, his best display of the tournament so far, 94 and a bit average. His first dart was regularly finding that treble 20. Vincent hits back with a 180.
And he claps it, Cammy. I think that was great darts, mate. For a Rangers fan, he's been very optimistic considering Rangers lost to Celtic.
Look, he just plays the game with joy. Like, he's just happy that things are happening up there, good things, whether they're for him or not. It's amazing, unless this is brilliant psychological warfare from Menzies. I don't think it is. I'm taking it at face value.
60.
I haven't even mentioned that he's a former Portland Open champion.
Well, I mean, that's surprised it's setting you 10 legs.
Surprised it's taken me 3 days.
92.
Last dart saves Vincent van der Voort, and he will get 2 match darts here. But can he take them with Menzies looking to leave himself something makeable? And it's not really. And is that the end for Cameron Menzies? A fabulous weekend, some great wins. A first appearance in a quarter-final on the Euro Tour, but that is where the adventure ends. An embrace from these two. I'm still not sure Vincent van der Voort knows what to make of Cameron Menzies, but the Dutch Destroyer, the Dutch Destroyer is through to the semi-finals of a ranking event for the first time in more than 3 years, and he's got a chance of emulating his Euro Tour victory in Austria 5 years ago.